Good morning, YouTube world. Good morning. Today is Thursday. And today is also known as the day where I break down a little bit more of who I am, as well as my previous work experiences. And earlier this week, I was at the UNM, University of New Mexico. And it had me thinking about when me and the mother of my child were at the crossroads where she wanted to go to college. I myself never intended to go to college. So I thought this Thursday would be best for me to stop and talk to you all at the University of New Mexico. You know, life is full of surprises, and you can't never quite be sure as to what's going to happen next. All you can really do is put your seatbelt on and buckle up for the ride ahead. Follow me, it's time for us to go. All right. Here we are, another Thursday. This is the part of my channel, man, where I try to give you all something from my work experience, as well as just some key things to life, man, that'll help you out moving forward. And it doesn't matter if you young, trying to figure this thing out, 14, 15, trying to figure this thing out, or if you 19, 20 and up. It doesn't matter, man. I'm just sharing bits and pieces of my life and my work experience, most importantly, to just encourage other people, man, to just get the job done and know what to look out for, right? So last week, I think I left off, man, where I let you guys know that I did take that job opportunity that I had found through working public service, community service hours. I had a total of 600 community service hours that I had to take care of. And through doing that community service, I ended up finding a new job that took me away from working at Wendy's, man, fast food, right? And I was 19 at the time when that happened. So, and the other thing that I did is I also let you guys last week know that I was promoted from being a janitor guy, custodial guy, that was basically just in charge of all the trash in the warehouse and as well as cardboard in the warehouse, right? In the break rooms, so that was my duties for I think about 6 months. And then I was asked to try something out that would benefit both the company as well as myself, which was moving into the warehouse operations and being more of a productive member to the actual money that's generated within the company. So now what I want to do this week is I want to talk to you guys about basically this week is about integrity. This week is about not compromising who you are, not hiding from who you truly are. Because at work, man, you have to be professional, but a lot of times there's people that put on a facade, right? And that facade meaning that they overdo, they over, um, what's the word I'm looking for? They just put on so much more stuff, over their natural exterior, and that's why I say facade, and so you have a hard time figuring out who those people truly are, other than what they show you, right? So this week, man, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start with the story that I had from last week, and this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna fast forward because that was late '99, going into 2000, right? When I actually got the job promotion and everything like that, going into 2000. So I was still on probation, right? I was still on probation. I had 6 years probation. At this point in 2000, I was going on my first year of completing or knocking off 1 year from that 6 year probation. So I had 5 more to go, right? Everything's going good for me. I'm working. Only stipulations I have with my probation at this point in 2000 is my GED. I got to get my GED out the way, right? So I got to get this GED out the way, and that I had been putting off, but now it's time to get that out the way because I had already got the community service out the way, and that was a big load off my shoulders. So I'm just trying to get all these things out the way, and I'm trying to definitely just do what I'm supposed to do while I'm on this probation and stuff, right? So I end up getting my GED out the way in September of 2000, right? It took me about, I did it in September and I got it done in October. So I ended up getting that out the way. It took me about a month, and it took me about 3 good tries to get it out the way. I failed the first time horribly when I was ready to take the test. And then I had to pay, I think, $20 or whatnot, and then retake it one more time as well. And I finally got it out the way, right? So in between all of that, I'm madly in love with my high school sweetheart, my high school crush, my everything, which happens to be today the mother of my son. So this woman's name is Mary, and Mary was and still is. I don't want to get that mistaken. She was and still is a big part of who I was then and who I am right now. So I was madly in love with her, but at the same time I was young and I was still trying to figure out if I wanted to truly just lock it in with her. I believe I was 20 years old, and Mary was she was 18 years old, right? So I was a couple years older than her, right? And so Mary had just graduated high school that year in 2018, and she comes from a very, very, very good background, a family. Her father is a doctor. I can't say exactly what type of doctor, and her mother worked in the school. And they had a very big house, still have that same big house. Her parents still have that same big house and a couple acres. And, they were different, right? And I liked it, Mary, and that's not even a word, I liked it, but I liked Mary, right? And I fell in love with Mary because she genuinely liked me and loved me for who I was, right? And that person whom I was a totally different person from the world that she came from, right? And I love the fact that when she and I continue to date each other and see each other, that her parents were very inviting and welcoming to the idea of me being with their daughter. I really love that, because we were just so different, man. Mary was raised where she didn't have to worry about anything, and I was raised where there were a lot of times where we had to worry about things. We had to worry about the lights being on, we had to worry about the gas being on, and just bills being paid and whatnot, and we had to worry about a lot of stuff, man. So not to mention me being in the streets and all of that stuff there. Her mother and father knew very much so of all my troubles and stuff, man, being out there in the streets and stuff, right? So I was just really happy to see that Mary and I had all the hopes of being whatever it was we wanted to be for one another. And in my head was, I wanted Mary for the rest of my life, So even though I was young, trying to figure that out, right? And what I mean by figuring that out is, you're young, you want to lock in, but at the same time, you still want to try to have fun. And I grew up fast, man, so I was still kind of combative with myself as far as, just the arguments and stuff that we would have from time to time, to where I would just kind of call it quits, take a time out and pause from whatever it is me and Mary was doing at the time, right? So, it's 2000, going towards the end of 2000. I got my GED out the way and all that stuff there. Me and Mary are together on and off here and there, whatever, but we're together for the most part. And she's graduated out of high school. She had the opportunity to pursue her education because, again, she comes from a background where her family had all this stuff arranged for her already, man. Like, she had a trust fund. She had, the whole college situation planned out for her. All she had to do was just choose and say where she wanted to go, right? But because Mary and I were in a relationship and we were really madly in love with each other, Mary procrastinated and put that off as far as entertaining the idea of going to college or any type of trade school or anything to that nature, right? So the new year rolls over. It's 2001, right? And well, actually, let me get this right. Okay, I want to get this all the way right? The new year of 2001, it comes along, right? It rolls in, okay? And Mary's still considering the idea of going to school somewhere and doing something with the trust in the college funds that her mother and father had set up for her, because Mary had a younger sister that I think was about a year and a half younger than her, that was on her way. Her sister was on her way to college and getting her stuff together and had it all sorted out. So, the pressure was on Mary to really figure out what she wanted to do. And so she was definitely looking into that idea a little bit more going into the year of 2001. Myself, I was just trying to figure out like how me and Mary could move forward together, because, and what I mean by move forward together is I was on probation. So I couldn't really leave. I had a stipulation where I couldn't really leave the state, and Mary was intending to leave the state with entertaining the idea of going to college, man. So she was ready to leave the state, and I couldn't leave. So that was kind of scary, right? It was kind of scary because even though we were young and even though we were taking our time outs or whatnot and all this stuff here, and I was entertaining other women or other young ladies because we were young at that point. I was trying to figure it out, man, right? I was trying to figure it out. Probation, madly in love with this woman. She wants to leave, and I can't leave. I'm on probation. Got stipulations and all this stuff here. So it's becoming a little frustrating for me, right? But I'm still walking a straight line. I'm still doing everything I'm supposed to do. I'm working and all of that. Work's coming along really good at Marshall Salon Services and all that. So there's really nothing to worry about in regards to what's on my table, right? So fast forward a little bit more in the year 2001, and I think this was around, I say this was around, I'm going to be sure about this one, right? I got to be sure about this one. But I think this was around the fall. It was around October, September-ish of 2001. And my sister was living with her boyfriend, had a child with her boyfriend. At the time, my mother passed away. And my sister ended up moving back into my mother's house, which is where I was staying throughout all the time that my mother had passed away already. I was staying there and holding things down. Me and my grandmother, I can't take all the weight, but me and my grandmother both were. And even through all my legal troubles and all that stuff there, my grandmother was the one that was, truly helping with making sure my mom's estate and house was taken care of and was always there for any one of us, me and my siblings, if we ever needed a place to stay or whatnot, right? So yeah, this was the fall 2001, right? And I got into a little situation where me and my sister had an argument, right? And we had an argument, and I'll be honest with y'all here, y'all. I'm being honest, right? We had an argument, and you know how siblings tend to, wrestle with each other, or just kind of, give each other a couple love taps here and there, or whatever, and stuff. So that's what happened. Me and my sister had one of those little situations where we exchanged a couple love taps to one another, and my sister left out of the house, and she didn't return, right? My girlfriend Mary was there when it happened at the time that me and my sister exchanged these love taps to one another, right? And so we didn't see my sister until the following day. And then right around the time the following day when my sister did return home, it was maybe a couple hours, and then the police showed up at the doorstep. And I was on probation, mind y'all. And this is how the cookie crumbles when you are in the hands of the Justice Department, or when you're in the hands of legal issues already, right? So they got wind of it. Small town, mind you. Dixon, Illinois is a very small town. They got wind of it, and next thing you know, they hurried up and acted on it, because this was a way to get me to violate my probation and send me to the penitentiary for a 5-year sentence, a 5-year term, right? So it didn't even matter how much probation I got knocked out of the way, or at this point was 2001 was already 2 years. I had walked down 2 years of staying out of trouble, right? 2 years. And then this happens, and the police arrest me. I go and, sit down in the county, Lee County in Dixon, Illinois, and then my bond ended up being $30,000 at 10%. So I ended up paying. I didn't pay the $3,000, but we ended up having to pay $3,000. Courtesy of my grandmother coming through for me and getting her grandbaby out of that situation. She was very much displeased and disgusted, as well as myself, of course, because I was the one involved. And I was just like, damn, this is the way that I'm getting ready to violate my probation, is because me and my sister had a little, just a little like pop, on one another. And this is the way that it has to go down. So I was really, bothered and troubled by this. So this was, like I said, the fall of 2001, right? And so I ended up bonded out. I wasn't there no longer than about 3 days, I believe. 2 days, maybe 2 days. And then, I returned back to my mother's house. My sister, she left and went to be back with her boyfriend, whom she had a child with at the time already. That was, I think, about a year old already, a little over a year, right? So, my brother, he ended up moving back into the house, my mom's house. So it was me and my brother, and it was me and my brother, and then Mary was always over and welcome at my mother's house with me, and would stay over occasionally as well. So it was basically just me, my brother, and Mary, and then my brother had a girlfriend as well, and his girlfriend Jamie was good friends with my girlfriend Mary. So it was basically the three of us, and occasionally the four of us at my mom's house, right? So I have this case on me now, or this violation, and the case is ultimately going to wind up being a part of a plea agreement, because that's the only thing that's going to make sense for me to get out of this entanglement that I'm in, right? So, and that plea is going to wind up being me having to serve some time, right? So, I got a lawyer. I got a lawyer for $5,000. Retainer fee was $2,500. So I paid this lawyer out of Sterling, Illinois, to come represent me and give me the best available option that he could get me, because I knew at the end of the day I was gonna have to go sit down, right? So fast forward this, I ended up going into the new year of 2002. I ended up getting a plea arrangement, and the plea arrangement was to just plea out to a battery, and to take 5 years in the Department of Corrections. And with good time and the credits and all that stuff there, I would only wind up serving half of that, if not even a little less. And so that's exactly what happened. I ended up going to sit my ass down in the penitentiary for a 5-year term, right? So when I went in, before I went in, I just want to make this clear too. Before I went in, I knew that I had fucked up, right? I knew that this was the opportunity that was going to be life changing, not an opportunity, but I knew that this was a situation that was going to be life changing, right? I knew that this was a situation that was going to be life changing for me and Mary as well, the girl whom I love so dearly, right? So I was scared. And so what I ended up doing in the midst of me being scared was I ended up intentionally trying to get Mary pregnant because, I knew that she was getting ready to take my absence and make something for herself, and I didn't know if I was ever going to see her again, right? So she was on her way to Detroit to take up a trade school for cosmetology and hair, right? She was on her way to Detroit, and then, I was on my way to the penitentiary, right? So, the day that I went in and had to, turn myself in or whatnot, or just go to the courtroom pretty much, and, make everything a clear go, I gave Mary a big hug. She told me she gave me a hug back. She told me she was going to be there for me in the whole nine. This is my first time ever, having to really go away. A lot of times, the most I've ever done was at this point was just sitting in the county for 45 days, maybe 2-3 months, something like that, but nothing longer than that. I've never really sat down, so this is my first time really going away. And again, like I said, I'm nervous, just nervous about life. What's life gonna be for me outside of this? I left my job, and I just let them know that I was gonna be leaving. I didn't let my job know that at Marshall Salon Services. I didn't let them know that I was going to have to go and sit down in this penitentiary. I didn't let them know that, right? So I just made up something that sounded legitimate for the sake and hope of, once I get this all resolved, that I could possibly return to Marshall Salon Services, right? So yeah, they didn't know where I was going. And my brother, also want to make this clear to you all as well, my brother was working at Marshall Salon Services with me at the time that all this was going on. Prior to my brother coming to work at Marshall Salon Services, he too was working at Wendy's, at the fast food restaurant, the same exact fast food restaurant that I was at, working at Wendy's. And I had invited him right around the time that I had got my GED, which was a year prior to what I'm telling y'all right now, which was 2001, earlier in 2001, that I had invited my brother to work at Wendy's. Not work at Wendy's, but invited my brother to work with me at Marshall Salon Services from Wendy's, right? So my brother made sure that he kept that information concealed at work at Marshall Salon Services, and he rode along with the story that and the idea that I was leaving, moving, and going to make a new life for myself elsewhere. And I think I had told him that I was going to Meridian, Mississippi, where his father resides now to this day. So yeah, I ended up going in, and I ended up, like I said, man, just worried about what the world was going to be when it was time for me to be released, right? I didn't know how much time I was going to serve, none of that stuff, right? So, fast forward, about 2 months into me being, well, not even 2 months, about a month and a half into me being incarcerated there, right? I was on the phone because me and Mary were talking to each other, still on the phone and corresponding, writing letters, and she had definitely went on the way to Detroit to take on this trade school, cosmetology school, for hair and everything like that. So about a month and a half of me being locked up and going through the process of going through processing and then getting to my home institution in Robinson, Illinois. Mary tells me over the phone, she says I'm pregnant, right? So she's pregnant. My firstborn, Hakeem. You know, I don't know it's gonna be a boy at the time or none of that stuff there, but she's pregnant, right? And now I'm like, wow, you know, this is what I wanted, but I just didn't want it to be like this. But I knew what I was doing when I did it. Maybe a month before it was time for me to, handle my business in the courtroom and get cuffed up and all of that stuff there, man. So I knew what I was doing, but it was just like surreal to me now. Like okay, she's pregnant, and it's real now. So what's she gonna do, and definitely, most importantly, what the hell am I gonna do, right? So she tells me she's pregnant. I tell her, you're gonna continue with doing what you're doing, and then I'm gonna do the best that I can do to get the hell up out of here and get back home to you and our unborn child, as quickly as possible. So a couple more months go by or whatnot, and I'm pretty much situated and understanding how the rules and everything go as far as being incarcerated in the penitentiary and stuff, right? So I end up going to East St. Louis, Illinois, which is basically another little town right on the other side of Missouri, of the state of Missouri, and the real St. Louis, Missouri, right? And I go down there, and this is the best thing that can happen to me, because down there they're giving you day-for-day credit, right? So in other words, if I do a year, they're giving me 6 months added on to help speed up the process of me getting out, right? So I only have 5 years at 50%, which is 2.5. So at this point, if I do everything I'm supposed to do, I can get out of here within a year and a half and be done with it all, right? So that's my goal, and that's what I'm shooting for. Fast forward. Me and Mary are staying in great communication, and she finally winds up having my son, right? She finally winds up having my son, and she tells me, listen, I'm going to come visit you immediately. I want you to see your son, and I want you to see how beautiful he is, and I want you to know that we love you, right? So she brought my son down to see me, just her and my son, driving in a Toyota RAV, a 93, 94 Toyota RAV. They drove all the way from Detroit, Michigan, all the way down to Southern Illinois, East St. Louis, Illinois, within 7 days of him having been birthed into this world. She drove all the way down there to see me, right? Put him in my arms. I'm holding him, and it's just it's just so much joy, a bundle of joy, me holding my little dude, and me looking into his eyes, and just knowing, like, this is a big part of who I am. This is a big part of me, and just knowing that I gotta make some changes in my life, right? So, I'm just sharing this to let you guys know, like, me and Mary had really went through some trying times, man. Some trying times, and she allowed me to name my son while I was incarcerated and everything like that. There, I was given the opportunity to name him Hakeem. I did give him his name, Hakeem. I figured it was only right that he have a name that is linked to some type of religion or a religious type of name, and I chose for it to be Hakeem. And the reason why I chose for it to be Hakeem was just the fact that I was around a lot of different religious aspects being incarcerated. Hebrew Israelites, Moorish Americans, Nation of Islam, all of those type of guys. And even though I didn't really see uh, my way to being anything that was Muslim or anything like that there, I still respected it, you know. So that's one of the main reasons why I named my son Hakeem, right? So fast forward, man, I just want to take y'all to like the last 2 months before I got out, right? In the last 2 months before I got out, I was really the last 4 months before I got out, I was really anticipating and planning what the hell I was gonna do, you know, when I got out. Because I had a great job with Marshall Salon Services, and then now I'm looking at I got to start all over, right? So my brother, I was still in contact with my brother as well as my grandmother throughout all this. I don't want to make it just seem like I was just, generally in contact with Mary, the mother of my son. I was in contact with both my brother and my grandmother as well. And my brother had told me in a letter, he had told me, he said, listen, because I had wrote him a lot, you know, and he had told me, he said, listen, I want to see, or I'm going to help you see if you can get your job back at Marshall Salon Services, man. I think it'd be best for you to come home and just get your job back, right? So I was in approval of that. I was in approval of that, but at the same time I wasn't, because now they're gonna know the truth. Now they're gonna know that I didn't move anywhere. Now they're gonna know that that I was in prison. They're gonna know that, right? So I was a little bit nervous of that, because I didn't want anyone to see me in that light, especially not the good people at Marshall Salon Services, man, because they had just given me so much as it was before I had went in, right? But fast forward, long story short, my brother had already presented the idea to both Matt, the gentleman that gave me the promotion, and as well as Matt's supervisors in the higher up, which is the owner, Jim Marshall himself. And so yeah, man, the idea was presented to them, as far as letting them know where I was at for real, and that I was interested in coming back, and that I needed to return if possible, because not only was it about me now, but it was about my son being born in this world as well, right? So I was told by my brother to just go ahead and write a letter to Marshall Salon Services and let them know that I personally was truly interested in returning back to Marshall Salon Services. So that's what I did, and I had plenty of time to think, right? So, and I enjoy writing, I enjoy reading, and things of that nature, man. So it was nothing for me to put together good correspondence and send that letter directly to Marshall Salon Services address, and have Jim Marshall himself, the owner, read my correspondence to him and my thoughts and everything moving forward. And guess what? After about 3 weeks of me having wrote that letter, or written that letter, I had got a correspondence back in the mail, y'all, from that same address, Jim Marshall and Marshall Salon Services, and Paula Harmon, whom was in charge of all the secretary, chores or anything to do with any business correspondence, and so I had got a certified letter and stamp from Paula Harmon, as well as Jim Marshall, the owner, and the others warehouse operations supervisors, which was Matt and Mark as well. And they had approved of me coming back and returning to the company to work. So when I got that letter, I knew right then. I said, okay, everything's already taken care of. Then all I got to do is just, come home, put my best foot forward, and do what I'm supposed to do, right? So I guess I'm sharing this story with you guys because the thing of the matter is that Marshall Salon Services didn't have to take me back. They didn't have to take me back, man. Especially knowing that I had lied to them, and for the sake of them not knowing that I was, in prison, and I had to go sit down and be in prison for X amount of time, which wound up being a year and a half, right? So, I ended up returning in 2003. I ended up returning in 2003, April of 2003. And the reason, again, why I'm trying to tell y'all this story, right, is because, man, they didn't have to take me back. Marshall Salon Services and Jim Marshall, the owner, they didn't have to take me back, y'all. They didn't. And the only reason they took me back is because they knew about my work ethic. They knew I was a hell of a worker. And not just that, they never wanted me to leave in the first place, right? And I didn't leave by choice. I left because I had to. I had to go serve time, right? So, I guess what I'm trying to tell you guys is, when you do a hell of a job, when you put forth a hell of a work ethic, when you put forth the best showmanship and your best foot forward every damn day, right? When you do that, it does not go unnoticed, man. It does not go unnoticed. And when you actually have to remove yourself, or if you're absent for any reason, in the way that I was, your presence is missed. Like Matt said about the custodial guy, there's always someone else that can do this, and there's always someone else that could do my job, but doesn't necessarily mean that they want that person to do that job, right? See, supervisors and owners of companies and whatnot, they have their picks. And what I mean by that is they have their picks as to knowing, who's in the right place for the benefit of the company. And I'm almost sure that when I had to step away from being a warehouse picker and having to go to prison, that the person that replaced me was not the same type of product and machine that I was. And that's not bragging. That's just saying, hey, again, people miss that. Supervisors and bosses and those higher up people, they miss those type of people when they have to leave. So that's what this is all about today, man. And I just want you guys to know that there's gonna be people, man, that, and y'all try to keep everything positive, right? I don't care to really share or shed too much light to any negativity, right? But there's gonna be people in the work field that just don't like you, man. That's what it's gonna be. There's gonna be people that just don't like you at all, man. That's just the way it's gonna be, right? And I had my, haters that didn't like me at my job at Marshall Salon Services, and it wasn't because I wasn't doing my job. It's because, I was outperforming and I was loved by a lot more people. So that's why I had my haters, you know. And everybody has their haters, man. Everyone has people that dislike them for whatever reason, again, y'all. But you can't let that stop you. You got to do what you got to do, right? You got to do what you got to do, right? Only people that matter in this world are the ones that love you back. Only people that matter in this world, let me say that again, are the ones that love you back, okay? Meaning, continue to place yourself around the people that truly do love you, that truly do want to see you, successful and be successful. They want to place you in the right situation, to continuously go up, right? Right? Don't worry about the ones that want to try to pull you down. Don't worry about them. Don't worry about them in no way, shape, or form. Okay? That's what this is all about. Because at the end of the day, it's easier for those same people that are hating on you, that dislike you, to try to pull that person that's going up, to try to pull them down. Right? It's a lot harder. A lot harder to bring someone up. So that's what I mean by don't worry about them, okay? Alright? Because the same way loyalty and integrity is in the streets, that same loyalty and integrity is respected the very same way in the work field. The things you do, an example that you set in the work field, would take you just as far. So don't ever discredit yourself or think any less about what integrity is today, and what loyalty is today. If you possess it, keep it, because I promise you, it's one of those things, man, that's going away, more and more. So if you possess that type of characteristic about yourself, what do you think? It's going to be valued even more. And that's all I have to say for you all this Thursday. And I hope you appreciate, my story and what I had to share with you all today. And all I want to say is, remember, keep moving, even in your sleepwalk. I gotta go. Peace, y'all.
Bills don't ever stop, the hustle don't ever stop. You working hard, you know you gotta eat, that won't ever stop. The time always moving like the streets, that'll never stop. I used to be that nigga in the streets, that'll never stop. Now I got a show, let's go, bitch, I'll never stop. This is for you player haters, all you racist motherfuckers. Listen to me, please don't stop, that's what keeps me going. Follow me, it's time for us to go. I'ma take you there, keep moving, even in your sleepwalk. Cause in them late nights, I be having deep thoughts. All I want is money, pay these bills, ride them four wheels. Why so much pressure on the man and the single mother? I remember talking to my son behind the prison glass. Son, these the consequences of a nigga living fast. But no more locked doors, baby Joker next Friday. I just need my money now, I can't wait till next Friday. Shit, I might be sleeping in my car, wishing on the stars, staying in a motel. They see me, then they go tell. You can talk about me, but don't talk about Tanya. Bitch, I'm a Navy kid, a soldier and a fucking trooper. Nowadays, don't nobody know what the fucking truth is. If I can come from the bottom, you can rise to the top. All you gotta do is just go like you seen a cop. Always been the first and the last nigga on the block. I don't, the bills don't ever stop, the hustle don't ever stop. You working hard, you know you gotta eat, that won't ever stop. The time always moving like the streets, that'll never stop. I used to be that nigga in the streets, that'll never stop. Now I got a show, let's go, bitch, I'll never stop. This is for you player haters, all you racist motherfuckers. Listen to me, please don't stop, that's what keeps me going. Follow me, it's time for us to go. I'ma take you, I gotta go, we gotta go. I'ma take you where you really need to go. I gotta go, we gotta go. Fuck that standing still, man, I gotta go. I gotta go, we gotta go. Man, my whole life I've been on the go.